So, time for some of you guys to hear some of the plans I have. And more like change. Because when things change, you need plans. Make sense? So, one of the biggest changes I'm going to make to the server, because the server needs a change. After some hackery, the server's gotten stagnant in growth, but it's still doing okay. So I am going to turn off the anti-wilderness, and wilderness will be editable again. Promise me you guys won't crap it up. Because I do want at least a nice looking server, and I think in the previous server, because you had to buy land, factions were kind of small, and the wilderness was the thing you edited in because you could hardly buy any of the faction land, that the factions didn't really give order. I want factions to be able to make the server look nice too, because then it gives order to where you can build and where you couldn't, and that's another reason why I had wilderness off, because it gave just order, it gave the beauty to the server. I've really enjoyed this server so far, but of course some people have not, because they don't have op. So, I'm sure many of you will be happy to hear I am turning wilderness back on. If any of you truly object to wilderness being turned back on, put it in the comments below, give a reason. I'll consider it. I don't know. I think most of you are just going to say, turn wilderness back on. I am not sure what just happened. So, on the topic of the public server, there's also going to be a change in power. If wilderness is going to be on, then I'm going to make factions bigger. I want factions to be able to, yet again, give order. People, if you want to ruin your own property, go ahead. You will be able to ruin the wilderness, but I think people are going to take care of their faction better if they can have it bigger. And I mean, that's the thing that you're going to be protecting. So I'm considering actually starting you off with less power. Now, how is that going to work? Because you say you want factions bigger and less power. A very big game changer that I think I'm going to add is I'm going to let you to be able to have a ton of power. And the way you get it is just by being on the server. Your power will slowly regenerate over time, just because that's how it is by default. But I'm going to make it a little slower than regular default. But considering that your power regenerates and nothing takes away your power, you would just slowly gain more and more power in your own territory. So that means if you want, because yet again, I think I'm going to have the amount you have smaller. I'm giving it a range of 4 to the original 16. So then random people don't come on with, you know, a fair amount of power, claim a lot of stuff, and then just kind of stay on it, grow in a lot of power, claim more stuff, and just sort of claim things, and that's annoying. Because I see so many factions around spawn that are just kind of sitting there because people have left, and they have 16 power immediately, and nobody's going to be able to do anything to that until I have it set after 30 days that you've been completely disconnected. Factions will say, kick this user off. If he's in a faction, kick him off. If he's the only person in that faction, faction is disbanded, and then you can actually edit in that person's territory. But 30 days, that's a long wait. And also for stuff just kind of cramped up at spawn and sitting there for 30 days and nobody can do anything. So this said, if you're on there building for a while and you really want to build something very big, because you're building it for a while, you'll be gaining a lot of power and you'll probably be able to claim the whole thing, so then nobody can do anything to it. Also, by this point, I hope the hacker is not interested in hearing any of this. If he is hearing this, well, oh well, you'll hear this. But, Niger Wolf, I gotta say, you did a lot of damage. And a lot of, you've really turn the server from booming to stagnant because of what you did. But, of course, I just kind of bore through it and waited it out and made it tougher and tougher. At first, I said I kept making it tougher and tougher, and actually wasn't affecting it because I wasn't editing the right settings. And then I figured out what he was bypassing was off me. He was locking in as me. And I don't know what all he was doing with my character, but I think he would have given himself off. If not, that's actually how he destroyed the spawn so many times, was he actually used my character, I think. Because after I realized, since my character had op and he was hacking through off me, or he had my password somehow, wasn't hacking at all, he wasn't actually just bypassing factions, because I don't even know if that's actually possible, even with a hacked client. But I realized if I just de-opt everyone, he couldn't grief anything, and he couldn't make factions just disappear with using disband command. And that stopped him, because he couldn't really grief anything anymore except for some of the simpler factions. And that's boring. So, you're boring. Yet again, if your faction is griefed and you have it that you do not need an invitation, it's your fault. Don't blame me and say, hey, my faction's griefed. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to worry about it. That was your fault that you left your faction open. Because I've got too much to deal with coding and other crap I'm working on right now. A different news, going off of the public server, New Frontier Craft. Still at the roadblock. I really need some help there. I'm starting to understand the rendering file, but it's not a big file, or a big class, I should say. It's just tons and tons of calculations, and that's the hardest thing to absorb, to see what everything in a calculation is doing. If it's just a lot of, like, add a block, I can read that. I can go through a giant class of that and just be like, oh, this is just adding a block. Let me change this, change the ID quickly. But to figure out how calculations are working, because it's calculating, because the items are all on one big sheet, and there's a bunch of really weird calculations for trying to get which item is which off of the sprite sheet. Blah, blah, blah. It's coding stuff. I'm still slowly trudging through it. I might have to get it myself. We'll see about that. More news, disregarding both of those. To the Alpha, 52, finally underway of being recorded. Zexon has actually been able to come over a lot more often after, yet again, more things changed about what was going on. And we're finally thinking about doing another constant series. To the Alpha is now going to be, as I said before, very slow to be posted, and very high edited, very good quality videos, storyline, adventure, cool stuff. I am going to keep on with constant feed with beta creations. There's going to be more posted about that one. But me and Zexon, after I showed Zexon New Frontier Craft fully, beta 1.7.8 fully, with a couple of other friends on the server, he actually really enjoyed it, and he wants to record a video, just like I do. I just want constant feed, and our videos before in the original To the Alpha series was great. And I want constant feed like that. We're both agreed we're going to do a New Frontier Craft series. And hopefully that will bring this channel back to life, and I hope that makes New Frontier Craft boom. I just need New Frontier Craft to boom, because everyone that's played it for a little while has actually gotten really into it. I think that's going to be... The channel is slowly populated by people who join the server, the public beta 1.7.3 server, but I think once the word gets around about this New Frontier Craft mod I'm making through the actual old community, it will explode. I hope. Oh, and by the way, if you're actually still watching this video, I have posted a new Oh, by the way, if you're actually still watching this video, I have posted a new album of music, including The Progress of Minecraft, all free to download. It's going to say name your price, but that means you can put in 0. People are like, well, I don't have money. I'm like, you can still download it, you moron. So, all my music is still free to download at zowja.bandcamp.com. This new album is pretty fancy. I would suggest you check it out.